So we're with the writers and the performers of Saudade. Is it Saudade? Saudade. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Saudade.
Saudade. So that's like I guess translation. It's like feelings of intense nostalgia, I guess, right? That's the definition of that title.
Yes, it's when you miss someone very much, and that person feels like home, or something feels like home.
So this is a dance film, played at the Experimental Dance Film Festival, very much experimental in nature. But the interesting thing about you guys is that you have three very mainstream posters behind you as we're doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Three generations too, right? Star Wars from the 70s, Back to the Future from the 80s, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think that's what the poster is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right over there.
Is there a meaning behind having those three posters on your walls? I'm assuming this is where you live. And
It's more like we live with in total of like 4 actors, and we all chose a movie that we really, really appreciate and really like, and put it up there.
and which one is yours?
I was more on one of the Once Upon the Hollywood guy.
And mine is Back to the Future.
The future. So see behind my shoulder, you see where I'm pointing right now?
Yeah.
That's Back to the Future. That's the script of Back to the Future. So they took the script and they made a painting out of it.
That's so cool.
So it's like the words?
Yeah, the words, yeah. So they took all the words of the script from the beginning, fade in to the end of the script, and they took all the words and they made a painting of Back to the Future. So
that is amazing. It looks really beautiful.
yeah, so we have that in common. All right, so let's get into this interesting film. So you guys are you guys performers first? Is that what you're both actors, you're both dancers?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Gica, you are, according to the blog interview, you basically read an old love poem, and then this kind of was a seed to the idea of making this film.
Yes. So this was based on a love letter that I received from a past relationship. And I wanted to make a movie about how I felt after I read it, because it was a lot of emotions packed in one piece of paper.
Yeah. And you kept it too. So that tells you something as well, doesn't it?
Exactly. I used to miss that person quite a lot. And I wanted to make something that I could take that, feeling out of me, and I could see it as well. And while making a movie, you kind of give it to the world as well. And you see if people relate to that. And it was a really good thing to know that people actually related to how I was feeling. And I ended up not feeling as alone as I was feeling before.
Gotcha. Well, I think everybody can relate, or at least 90% of us can relate to that. Like you can go back to an old relationship and you can catch yourself in that time frame, in that moment, but at the same time, you're reflecting and you're a whole different person now. So you're like a different person, and that relationship probably wouldn't be the same, obviously, now, but you can still find yourself going back to your old self and kind of feeling like sad and happy at the same time, I guess, about your old self.
Exactly. It was a relationship that I kind of lost myself in the process.
Yeah.
So this push and pull of like, you miss the good parts, but you also have the bad parts with it. So this saudade feeling is something that is mixed with good things and bad things as well for me.
Yeah. Which makes for an interesting film, right?
Yeah.
So were you always going to make this like a dance film? Was that always the intention?
Yes, we wanted to make without words, since it came from words and they did not make sense in the present moment for both of us. It's like remembering, like something that was in the past and then bringing back to life. We figured that the best way was to make a dance video, a silent movie out of it.
So what was the next step after kind of coming up with like having an idea, like we got to make a movie about these emotions? Did you write like an actual scripts, or did you kind of have loose ideas? What was the process?
So it was very funny. I was here on the couch on this exact one, and Gica came out of her room with that letter in her hand. She's like, I want to make a dance film. And I was like, okay, what do you have in mind? And she explained that feeling to me, and I was like, oh, I see. Okay. So she gave me the letter, and I kind of like encrypted it for like, because she already had her part like figured out. I mean, she knew how she felt through that when she received that letter, but I wanted to know what would prompt someone to write this kind of letter. at that time, because this letter was not just like the love letter, but it was also like timed with a breakup at the same time. So the person that broke up with Gica at that exact time gave that letter to her on the same day of the breakup, which to me was like such an interesting thing that I kind of like wanted to dive into. And so I encrypted it and started writing like a little outline of a script. So like we both worked on the script for a little bit, and it just kind of evolved in this piece of outline of like the stance. So yeah, it became a whole script.
And then you like, were you thinking choreography already when you were writing the script?
We were more because I have a classical like ballroom dancing background. We were more thinking of what kind of dance, what type of ballroom dance we can put in there, and we were discussing those questions. Yet we didn't really have like a choreographed sequence yet. Also, due to the fact that we decided to go with a dance that we both don't really know, and so we had to learn it before we were going to film it. So we practiced a lot, and then had our director come in, and our director looked over it and was like, okay, I take whatever you guys practiced and made a sequence out of it for us.
Yeah, my background is mostly with modern dance, and the basic steps when we're together, we inspired ourselves with West Coast swing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's the little twist.
And was the song like already thought of? Like I see that there's an original composer. Did you guys already have the song before you did the dance?
It came both at the same time. We already had a composer in mind to do the music. We were just rehearsing the dance, giving kind of like the basic frameworks of like BPM and vibe to our composer, and our composer came up with like a song that we then, at the time where we like created the choreography around it, we used the song that he had created to like guide us in our sequence.
Yeah, so the composer, he's Brazilian, and he's one of my friends. So together we kind of like, it was like a two-way communication that we did. So we rehearsed a few steps, we had something in mind. We knew that most of the choreo was gonna be cut. So he gave us like a basic outline of how we would like that to sound. And then once the movie was ready, he just polished a few things as he was watching it, because we wanted to make sure that the story was there beforehand, and the music was something to bring that story to life.
Gotcha. So the first, let me talk to you. I want to talk to you about the costumes, because it's funny because in the beginning of the movie you're wearing white and he's wearing black, and now doing the podcast you guys are the opposite. You're wearing white and she's wearing black. I don't know if that was, obviously that wasn't conscious, it's just a coincidence. So tell me about, then you kind of course change for the kind of classical dance, and you guys change outfits, but tell me about the, like choosing the outfits for the film.
Well, in my case, the director, she had a few things planned out for us.
Yeah.
She thinks that the white brings this kind of, like passing through the situation. So I started with white because the story starts after the breakup, right? After this is already over. And that whole thing is just a memory. The red dress is to kind of like resemble a little bit of love. So this passion that they had together. And the blue is this calm and peaceful vibe that she has at the end when she's younger. So yeah, I think the color palette was something that we're very happy with it as well. The choice of costumes, the pants, it's something that my director gave it to me, and we had those little strings coming out of it, which gave a little bit of movement when I had to do the solo part as well. So yeah, it was something that we planned out. His costume needed to be dark, needed to be something that is related to a ghost. Something that is just more, it's a shadow of the relationship.
Yeah, that's basically like the shadow part was one of the important aspects that we wanted to hit with the black and dark palette. Yeah. Because this ghost is basically haunting her, So it would have been probably inappropriate to wear like something nice and white throughout that, even though ghosts are like portrayed in a white dress usually, you know, like the but yeah, we wanted to make a little bit more darker in that sense.
Yeah, there's almost like three sequences in the film, I guess, right? Like kind of like with 3 outfit changes for you. Gica is basically like the end, of course, where you're kind of in reality, I guess. I guess that's the version that you're in. You're kind of like, and then of course the class, I'm calling it classical dance. Like what's the proper dance that when you guys are dancing together in unison?
The West Coast swing.
The West Coast swing routine, and then of course the nostalgic, I guess, the basically when you're kind of like in your head, I guess, right? So that's my interpretation of the film, I guess.
Yeah, no, that was I mean, we also got the red dress and the more bluish shirt for that romantic sequence to just intercut with like the good parts of the relationship. And I feel like in some moments this kind of good healthy relationship that you see in this like in these nice flashbacks like borderlines on already like a little toxicity, like it kind of foreshadows the toxicity that comes like when she's in a red dress but she's dancing by herself. It's like this longing of this good relationship, but at the same time why does she have to long for someone that's clearly not supporting her anymore?
The person's not even there anymore.
And do you have an interesting tattoo in your back, which is like, I guess it's like an extension of a hair extension. Is that your tattoo? Do you have that?
No, tattoo? I have no tattoos.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was a fake tattoo that we did. Funny thing, the serpent represents that person that I was in a relationship with.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a way to connect myself with that person. It's kind of like he had scars in his face and I had tattoos.
Yeah.
And the idea was to have those scars from the relationship, but one person keeps the scars and someone, the girl has the scars of like an artistic interpretation of what that is. So tattoos, they are kind of, like they are scars.
Yeah, it's like you hurt your own skin in order to get this beautiful little painting on your skin, right?
Yeah.
And we were thinking that with this whole sequence, it's like a necessary ritual, a rite of passage that you could almost see it as. Like you have to go through this heartbreaking pain to come out more beautiful and more unique on the other end. And those scars, while the ghost wasn't able to like make those scars beautiful on him, that's like, hurt people, she is able to transition from these scars to tattoos.
Yeah, fully and completely, as much as he has some runes here as well on his face. So
yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting interpretation. I like it. Yeah. And in terms of Josie, so you brought Josie in to direct the film. How did you know her before the film?
I met her on a different set. We were both talent on that set, and we had a really fun time. And we stayed in contact after that. And not like shortly after we had met, she was participating in this 48-hour festival. And she had asked me to be her lead dancer. And again, we had a blast on set. I saw her visions come to life. I saw her amazing ingenuity and the way she knows exactly which shot she wants to recreate. And so I was like, this is the person that we will just immediately ask for our script, because I knew she would do an amazing job on it.
Exactly. Like after he met her, I was introduced to her as well during that 48-hour film festival. And I had the chance to work with her in a set as a PA for one proof of concept of a feature that she's building at the moment. And after that, I looked at him and like, wow, we have a director in mind, right? And she's the perfect person to do that. We called her, we gave her the idea, and we're just like, this is, us asking you to work with us in a very personal project. And with friends, we basically want to have fun and see what we create with it. And she was very excited to be a part of it. And I'm happy that she was our director.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that you shot it. Sorry about that. I'm assuming you shot it in one location. It was like the one studio.
Yes. It was actually her old dance school that she found at the location she shot.
So she understands dance because she was a dancer herself, I guess, right? So,
Yes, she's a dancer herself.
and then there's some, I see some, there's a fog machine that you had, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That was an interesting demeanor. Yeah, we had a fog machine with a very specific fog liquid that we wanted to use. Didn't turn out as we wanted it in the beginning, so we had to like little like tweak it in order to make it work.
Yeah, it basically was to create this, you know, like space that this transition from the present to the past, something foggy. It's like a memory, you know, that is still not figured out of how to deal with. So that was the choice of with smoke, like a foggy memory as well.
But she focused on the story before the dance, if that makes sense, because I obviously see a lot of dance films, and so basically the story is your journey. It's your journey, basically, about like what you're feeling about this person. So that he's almost like a haunting figure at the beginning, and then like you see him as kind of a silhouette, or kind of like kind of out of focus in a sense, and then of course there's that romantic kind of sequence, and then yeah, so you're going through this. It's almost like a stages of grief in a sense, the stages of like, if there is such a thing, I'm sure someone's going to write a book about it if they haven't, the stages of nostalgia, right? Where like you're going through these these like this anger, acceptance, happiness, you know what I mean? And it seems like that's what's happening in the film.
Yeah, it is a lot of, you know, like it does resemble a lot of the stages of grief. And I would say that when it comes to like a romantic story, it's very mixed. You know, I jumped back and forth from like stage 3 to stage 2 to stage 4, 5, back to 1. You know, it's something that you just, it's a very interesting type of grief. You know, I lost family members. I've been through death before, but romantic wise, it's just something that it feels that the person is still there with you most of the time. So yeah, we tried our best to like put everything together into 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm projecting a little bit, but there's some ego involved, meaning that the grief is that the person's still alive, so they're gonna move on to other relationships. They're gonna move on to they're gonna have their own life, but you're not gonna be in that person's life.
Exactly.
Right. So you might even run into them if you live in the same city from time to time, or you might even, especially in today's world, where you're gonna see them on social media, whatever. So they're gonna exist, but then you're just not a part of their life anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They're not, you know, gone, but they're not with you anymore.
Yeah.
So it feels like a ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a live ghost, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is an interesting, it is an interesting stage of group. So is this, what's your guys' experience making dance films?
What was our experience doing
Yeah,
it?
before this film.
I've done the 48 hour film festival one was like a musical that we did. So that was one of the dance ones that I had before. But before that, not really much of a dance film enthusiast, I guess. But I do, however, found a lot of intriguing and amazing aspects of it while doing it. In the 48 Hour Film Festival and also in Saudade. I feel like tiny little movements and the timing of these movements can express so many different emotional feelings as well as intentions, and tell a story by itself.
Yeah. Well, for me, first movie, Saudade, was definitely the first movie that I did with dance. I am not a professional dancer at all, actually. I'm someone that I always loved to do a modern dance during my course of, you know, like studying performing arts. But this movie opened up doors for me, and I got the chance to work more with dance in the future with other movies as well. And the last one that I was casted in was The Last Encore, made by the same person that was our Was she a gaffer, I believe?
Yeah, she was.
Misha, yeah.
Yeah.
Misha, she's also a director and a writer, and I got the chance to do another silent one, and it's also dance with her, which is very cool. I agree with Constantine when he says that dance shows a lot of things that words maybe don't do, you know, the full work of it. And putting a feeling into your body when you dance, it was very free. It was, you know, during the whole solo, I felt that I could feel what I, you know, I read in the letter,
Yeah.
and that's just a really good experience to explore.
And so you're originally from Brazil, correct?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been in Los Angeles for?
2 years and a half,
Oh
maybe
wow.
almost
So
three. Yeah,
you're just starting. You're just starting it out.
yeah, we're just starting.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what about you, Constantine? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Germany, and I've been here for 2.5 years too. We met at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts School, and
Okay.
have been friends since.
Yeah, and roommates.
Two different continents, I guess, right? Merging together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You guys. I'm assuming you're going to stay in Los Angeles. You're not going anywhere.
Well, we are in the process of getting our new visa, so yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
do
want
want
to
to
stay.
stay.
Well, I hope that works out for each other for each other.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You just have to marry an American, and then you'll be okay.
Fair
But
enough.
make it for love, I guess, right? But I'm just
Yeah, exactly.
because this is live. No, but I wish you guys the best, because obviously you guys are doing something. Gica was on your website. It seems like in the last month you're kind of blowing up a little bit. You got a bunch of things happening at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I decided to create a website for myself to put everything that I could there. We have both of us. We have some publicity going on at the moment, and I have another project as well that we submitted to. Also, a festival that is working with you guys, Wild Sound.
Okay.
It's a project for Five Lost at Sea. And yeah, this is our next steps. We are building our career here and making the best out of it, I think.
That's amazing. And so what did you guys think about? We sent the audience to you and the audience feedback. What did you guys think about what they had to say about your film?
It was very cool to see people that we don't really know, right? We usually you show it to friends and family, but to see actual people that you had no contact with whatsoever before talk about your film and find connections through it is a very rewarding feeling for which makes creating even more fun. I feel like
I was smiling through the beginning, you know, to the end of it. It's great to see that the movie achieved its objective of what we wanted to portray. And hearing people saying like, oh, I think, you know, this was what was happening with the movie and that, and we're like, yes, that was it. Yes, you guys got it right. You know, like that's what the story that we wanted to make. And hearing a feedback, you know, like exactly from people that you don't know it's incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, it's
But a
amazing.
side note to that, whatever the audience says, that's exactly the interpretation we had in mind.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's what it's about, right? So it's their film now. That's the kind of the mantra. Yeah, so you're a great actor, both of you. But Gica, this is obviously your story in terms of like from a storytelling standpoint. You have the arc, you're the journey, and then in 5 minutes you go through lots of stages, and there's a lot. And obviously the director trusted you a lot to basically give you a lot of close-ups and give you a lot of emotional exposure. I don't know what you saw personally in the editing room, because I know you're a big part of the film, but you really nailed a lot of story beats in the film. So, and sometimes when you're making films, especially when it's a professional dancer, I know you said you're not, but you kind of like, you make sure the story arc is edited in a certain way, but you're the close-up, you're the film. So the line,
Thank you.
there's a lot to show agents and producers, your and casting directors, your this film. There's a lot in there. So
I appreciate it so much. It was I mean, I don't even know what I think about it when I, like I do the movie or when I'm acting. I just look to really, like have the subtext of what the character is feeling. And as much as it is a personal story, I believe that I tried my best to like separate my own personal feeling about it to someone that people could relate with. It is a very like interesting process to have such a good director with you that trusts, like both of us to do this this whole story. And yeah, I'm glad. I'm just very happy with the comment. Thank you.
And Constantine, you're not a, you pulled off being creepy and handsome in the same movie. So not many people could do that at the same time either. So
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
because you are creepy in the beginning, and all of a sudden you just show up, and it's like, oh, look at him, look how handsome he is. Look, I like, let's dance with him. Of course, I'll dance with you. It's like sort of like you pull that off in like one beat. So good job.
Thank you very much.
So you guys? So you're obviously you got stuff in the that you've already accomplished. Are you guys think you're going to work together again, make another movie together? You think or no?
No,
No,
of course.
we don't.
I don't know why I said that. Sorry. Yeah.
No, of course. Yeah, no, I think Gica's passion and my passion about filmmaking go really well together, and I'd love to work with her again.
Same for me. I would love to work with Constantin again.
Cool. Well, I wish you guys the ultimate best. Maybe you said you got another film kind of within our little world, so maybe we'll talk again. And yeah, keep up the good work, and I hope you guys get to stay where you want to stay and can keep making art.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.